All right. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another Monday stream. If you don't know me, my name is TAETRO, and today we are going to be talking all about the Yamaha SEQTRAK, which is an awesome little music production studio is what they call it. I think it says that on the box. Little groove box here. Another groove box. Yamaha entering the game after quite some time, I think. That's what we're getting into today. So buckle up, grab a drink, grab your coffee. I've already got mine. Bring your questions if you have any questions about it. And let's talk about making music on this thing. Now, the title says my first day with the Yamaha SEQTRAK. That is probably a little bit of a white lie. This is my second day with the SEQTRAK. The beat that you were just listening to was entirely made on the SEQTRAK using sounds that came in and one sampled sound that I used the built-in microphone for. So, if you have any questions about this gear, let's talk about it. Link to it is in the description. Zzounds, an awesome music store, they hooked me up with it, and they've been really kind. It's kind of a new partnership situation where they were like, hey, if you want to try stuff out, let us know. We'll send it your way. You can keep it, send it back, whatever you want. So, if there's other gear in the future, too, that you think I should check out, we can hit up our friends at Zzounds and get in on that. I see questions already, and folks, you gotta check out this new tech we got here. Oh, Bobby Lime says, I'm searching within myself of any next main piece of gear, but I may feel this is almost it, but not quite. Could be. Rich F says, a lot of key combos. I gotta tell you, it might be a lot of key combos. It might be a good amount of key combos, similar to SB404. For the drum tracks, can you trigger them via MIDI? Yes, and I actually have here now my launch key mini, which I will connect to this in a bit, and we'll get into using it with a MIDI controller. Lucas S says, I'm excited thinking sometime about this device. Seems really fun and would maybe work quite nice with my EP133 and my Launchpad Pro. I think that is a power combo. Blossom is here. Hi, Blossom. You've been off live for some time. That's okay. Welcome. Also, I have a question. It's about Ableton. You can ask it in the chat. We're just getting into the intro here. We're going to hang out and have some conversation before we get into the meat and potatoes about the SEQTRAK and all that today. So don't worry too much about asking questions. Let's shed a little more light on the situation here. There we go. There are a lot of combos on the MPC, but they become automatic pretty quickly. That's true about pretty much any piece of gear, I would say, Jeff. Well, some gear, it's gotten a little out of hand. I think on the 404, for instance, it's gotten a little bit out of hand with the amount of key combos that you have to remember every time they add an update. And it's the trade-off of, do we want them to add more features as the lifespan of a device goes on, if it means more memorization, more key combos, or, I think it comes down, I'll talk about this later, but I think it comes down to designing a device from the outset with the features, instead of coming up with what a product should look like and then reverse engineering how to do those functions. I think that's the thing. I would say the advantage of the MPC, which I'm no MPC fan, but the advantage is you've got that screen where you got a lot of real estate where you can really spell things out. How does it work with Ableton? That's a great question right off the bat here. It's just connected via USB. So it's got a USB audio interface essentially. So we can go USB audio out, and that is super convenient. And I feel like that's becoming standard, which I think is really, really great. All right, I'm going to answer more questions in a moment, but I have a few things just to key you all into, and then I'm going to answer a bunch more questions. If you have more questions, feel free to shoot them off in chat. But hang for a moment here. Let's go ahead and let's get some little jams going here in the background. And let me tell you about a few things that we got going on, because I want to make sure you all are involved and able to be involved in all the events and happenings that are going on. First and foremost, as you all know, I have a new podcast called Creative Currents, and I drop a new episode pretty much every single weekend. So this week's episode is on inspiration collection. So if you are interested in ways to collect your inspiration and ways to, get yourself in the creative mindset, this episode is for you. This is episode 9. Next week's episode is going to be episode 10, and I want to answer as many creative questions as possible in the last episode of the first season of this podcast. So, if you have any questions for me based on this podcast content, you can ask it to me on Threads, on Instagram, via email, via YouTube comment, whatever. I'm going to make the last episode, episode 10 of the podcast, not the last episode of season 1, as big of a Q&A as I possibly can. So feel free to ask questions in Discord, etc., etc. We are very close to 350 members, which is how you get access to our Discord. And it is a very good time to become a channel member, because later this week, on Thursday actually, we are going to be having a members workshop. How to carefully use layers in your music. This is workshop number 9. If you don't know what these workshops are, they are really deep dives into really important topics for creatives and producers. Here, I'll show you the playlist of all of them. How to analyze and learn from your favorite music. How to find your unique sound. Video making for producers. And look at the times on all of these workshops, by the way. These are 90-minute to 2-hour long workshops usually. So obviously they don't make sense to do as a full YouTube video. But we do the workshop format for members. And you can join live, you can ask questions live, but then you can also get access to this full archive as soon as you become a member. We're very close to 350 members. So if you want to join, it's a good time because you can attend this workshop live and then get instant access to all the previous workshops, as well as a new month is coming up, March. And next month, we're going to do another feedback stream. So if you want feedback on your music and you want to attend the next live stream, become a channel member. And there will also be some free downloads waiting there for you when you become a channel member. Can I follow your Pinterest boards, Bobby? Bobby asks. I'm going to keep those mostly private, I think. I actually don't even know how to share the pin boards. But, I don't know. It's nice to have a few things that are generally not super public, Aote says, the workshops are so valuable, I referred back to a couple this weekend. That's awesome. You should let us know which ones you referred back to. Yeah, so join button down below. And I know something's going on with YouTube Premium. I think they're going to add, or maybe they already have added for you. You can check if it's there. But if you hit the join button, it's been said that they're going to add a 1 free month membership to a channel if you have YouTube Premium. I heard that that's coming. I don't know if it's rolled out to everybody yet. What's up, Michelle? Nice to see you. Nice to see you. And hello to Jeff. Dojo of Cool is here. B Jammin. Krios is here. Andrew Fox. What's good? What's good? What's good? J-Song music. Are we going to do OP1 versus SEQTRAK versus SP404 Mark II? I don't know if we're going to do that. We can talk about those comparisons, though, today. All right. One more thing to put you all onto. Actually, first of all, if you all saw my latest Push performance with Push and the controllers and everything, I released a video and a tutorial on that. So definitely check that out if you didn't catch it this weekend. I've been releasing videos on the weekend because that's when YouTube tells me most of my subscribers are online. So I'm just rolling with that. All right, and last thing, I promise. And then we're going to get right back into talking about this music tech and the SEQTRAK and everything. The garden is happening. The community garden. Who has been working on their community garden tracks, I wonder? TAETRO.com/garden. Link is pinned to the top of the chat. And the community garden is a way for us to all come together, make music together. So this is what's going on at TAETRO.com/garden. Put a lot of work into this website. Here's all the rules. Basically, you get access to a huge library of sounds for 30 days from Museo. Just asking you to make a 60-second track and a 60-second video. Post it to Instagram. Post it to our Discord, meaning anybody right now. You don't have to be a member, but you can get access to our Discord. via that link on that website there. Some people have been sharing pictures of their studios. Really cool to see some of the community studios going on. But it's just a fun community event that's going to wrap up next month, so it's not too late to join. Some people already have made music with the community garden. We got 3 entries already. Should we take a sneak peek at these? People making music with the Museo sounds. Oh gosh. Oh gosh. Hold that thought. That was way louder than I expected it to be. I'm not gonna watch the whole thing. Very cinematic vibes on that one, I can tell. I don't want to watch the whole thing because we're gonna watch them when we do the proper garden stream. Arnie has an entry. Arnie's always crushing it. MIDI guitar action. All right, that's just a taste of that one. That's really good. I didn't expect everybody to do a cinematic track, so please do not think that you need to do a cinematic track. Nice guitar vibes on this one. Nice, and that's the sound selection that they used. Perfect. Oh! Okay, I'm gonna stop that one there because I can tell it's gonna be good, and I don't want to ruin the surprise of that. So, Community Garden, it's happening, folks. You can participate. We're giving away licenses to that Museo library, so I think it's gonna be really fun. Oh, this is Community Garden. Oh, this is Community Garden. Exactly. I didn't expect people to have entries already, but they do, so that's cool. So my channel members, the cool people with the trees text next to their name, make sure you set your reminder for this week's workshop coming up. All right, should we talk more about the SEQTRAK, folks? What questions did I miss at the top of today's stream? I wonder. All right. Oh, Blossom had an Ableton question before we go on. If anybody has advice for Blossom, also, when people ask questions in chat, I'm not the only one who has to answer them. You all can chat with each other. Kyle says, was Soundgarden already taken? It might have already been taken, Kyle. I don't know. Yeah, so how should I name my Ableton projects? I have been naming them Untitled Number, and I was wondering, should I name them something different? Well, I'll tell you what I do, because I think the naming... Actually, I just finished the album, folks. The album is finished and ready to be distributed. More on that probably next week. But it is being distributed currently as we speak. The thing, I don't name my tracks usually until the very end, until they go out to distribution. So what I do with my Ableton projects is I literally just name them by the date. I just write the date as a number. So if I made a track today, I would write 02/26/2024, and I would save it. And if there was some like keyword with it, like if it was a SEQTRAK project, I might put SEQTRAK or something, just a little something to remember what that is. But that helps me organize things by time. Then you could put things in folders by month, by year, by genre. There's a lot of ways you can sort it, but I think Untitled is just like unnecessary. So just doing it by the date, I think it's probably a better way to go about it. It gives you at least some marker of when did I make this, etc. And then the next step is to make folders in your recordings folder of like genres or types of music or projects. So for my album, I have a folder specifically for music that was for that album that I could just add the music to. And then everything has a unique name. You're not searching, like everything's not called Untitled. You know what I mean? I don't know if anybody else has any tips for that. All right. Jeff made a good point earlier about learning a new device, especially a device like this one, the SEQTRAK. It's like playing an instrument. It takes daily practice. I could not agree more. And that's what makes, I'm not complaining at all, but I'm saying that's what makes this job here really difficult, because every time a new piece of gear drops, I got to figure out, okay, what are the guiding principles of this particular piece of gear? How does it work? Whatever. And as you can see here, I've got 2 pages of notes because, as somebody referenced before, Rich F, a lot of key combos. Yes, a lot of key combos. So I've basically written down the main ones that I need to remember, and I'll use them as a note or a guide, basically a cheat sheet, if you will, I guess. All right, we can get into the SEQTRAK now. People have thoughts on the naming of tracks. Last track I made was Goth Buzz Pop 02224. Oh, we need to hear the Goth Buzz Pop, maybe for next month's feedback stream. Intrigued Viewer says, I named them after the instrument I'm featuring in it. Eventually I'll replace the name before I post it online. Yeah. Yeah, I think once the track is done, then it can be properly named. I don't feel like it can be named like after your first session with it. Oh, we have a SEQTRAK user in the chat today. The gig is up. Awesome. Been loving my SEQTRAK since day one, jamming with it nonstop. Tell us your favorite parts about the SEQTRAK, and also call me out when I don't know what I'm talking about today. As I said, this is my first day, aka my second day, because I did prepare a little bit to not be totally blind during today's stream. If you're watching this later, please leave a like on the video. Please comment and let me know, hey, I'm watching this later. And of course, if you're watching this live, leave a like while you're watching. It helps more people find the stream. Curtis says, I used to think I needed a new piece of gear to improve my workflow. I needed to get rid of everything I didn't touch daily to improve my workflow. That's bars. That is absolute bars. One of One Productions. Save this to watch later. Awesome. Thank you, my friend. All right, SEQTRAK, what do we have going here? Let's go ahead and do a quick rundown of all the things that are going on here. When I was doing that little performance, that demo at the beginning, I was using track mutes. So right now I'm just unmuting every track that I had muted. You're going to see some clear sections here, right? So this first section here is for drums. So we have kick, snare, clap, hi-hat, which I didn't even use in that demo before, perk, and then another perk track. So those are our drum tracks, and you can see that this section right here is our sequencer. So I'm going to go ahead and solo the kick, and let's click play, and you're going to see the kick sequence go. You can see that it's not running anymore because we have multiple pages. So I can click page, and you're going to want to keep your eye on this strip of lights here as much as you can, because this strip of lights is sort of like a global indicator. So right now, as I'm clicking page, we can see that 2 lights have lit up, and I'm going between page 1 and page 2. Page 1, page 2. And you're seeing that reflected here on the step sequence. So if I click play, dun, dun, let's change pages. Now we're in the second page of the kick pattern. Does that make sense? Oh, those are buttons. I always thought they were little knobs. They are knobs as well as buttons. So right now that nothing is playing, pressing them previews the sound. Oh, kick is soloed, so that's the only sound that's going to play. But it's also used as a way to select different tracks. So see, right now we are looking at our kick drum sequence. If I click snare, now we're looking at our snare drum sequence, and so on and so forth for all the other tracks, including the synth tracks over here, which we haven't gotten to yet. So staying with the kick for just a moment, you can see, or I hope you can see, you all let me know if I need to make adjustments visually. Like maybe the camera needs to be a bit darker so you can see the lights a bit better. And I want to talk about that. But can you see that there are yellow? Oh gosh, I messed up my chat thing and now it's huge. Can you all see the yellow and purple lights? I hope that you can. That's very funny. Christina, I think you're right. This does look like something from IKEA. All right, so yellow and purple lights. This is in the second bar of the kick pattern. So listen through. This is bar 1 and then bar 2. It's very probably difficult to hear, but purple lights indicate that there's some parameter lock on these individual drum hits. Yellow is just a normal step. And of course, like any step sequencer, I can go ahead and, you know, punch in different notes. In fact, let me start a new kick pattern here so that I can just work in one page. 4 to the floor. See those notes entered? I can hold down a step and change something about this particular step. But I guess to talk about that, I should tell you about a little of our sound design options here. Here, there's a column of words. Everything from sound, pitch, mono and poly, chord, pan, volume, attack, decay, things that you would expect, down to things like filter, reverb, delay, distortion, modulation, etc. I'll get into all of those in a moment. But there's a little button here at the bottom of this column of knobs, and this changes what this collection of knobs does. Yo, Tom, how dare I? Tom, welcome to Seekers. Thank you so much for joining. Welcome. Perfect time to join. You can get access to the workshop on Thursday and next month's track feedback. Zaki26 says, I'm old but new here. Welcome. Fellow members, please give Tom a warm welcome. All right, so under this column of knobs here, we have a button which changes the function of these knobs, which this is probably difficult to see on camera, but these words in this column will illuminate based on what the function of these knobs currently are. So right now, we have the ability to adjust the sound, aka which sound we're using. If I turn the sound knob, we'll get a different kick sound. So again, this is happening because we are selected onto the kick track. You can tell that we're selected onto the kick track because it's flashing. Okay, next we have the ability to adjust pitch. And this tends to be pretty universal throughout all the different sounds. Next we have panning and volume. So I think you understand what panning and volume is, so I probably don't need to cover those too much. If I push this button again, we get a new selection of things that we can change, like attack, decay, filter, and the filter resonance. So now these knobs have different functions. Let's change the attack on this kick. It's a kick, so you all know how that's going to go. Decay, this is a pretty short sound, so I guess we could shorten it. And then filter. This is for the individual sound, filter and filter resonance. Push that again, and we get access to effects like reverb, delay, and other. There's our reverb. So just notice that I'm able to change what this column of knobs does. So that is... Oh, here we're going to have access to EQ. These bottom two knobs become high and low. Boost that low a little bit. It is a kick after all. All right, and finally we have other, which let's actually see. I don't 100% remember. I believe these are customizable, and I should show this off too, but actually I can tell you exactly what this stuff does. Here, let me show you. Because there's an awesome app for this that runs on mobile devices as well as desktop. But take a look at this situation on screen. This is the SEQTRAK app, and it's not just like a stagnant thing. It's actually going to change based on when I touch the device, and even when I change and go to different knobs, for instance. So here I started tweaking this knob here, which is delay, send to, and you can see that it automatically reflects on screen. If I go back to like the pitch page or the pitch parameter, it jumps to that page and I can see exactly what I'm controlling. So this has been a huge help to me in understanding what I'm doing on the SEQTRAK. I hope I don't have to lean on it as a crutch too much. I can tell that Yamaha put a lot of effort into this app, which is not always true for hardware makers. A lot of times hardware makers, they make a great piece of hardware and then the software editor is just kind of like a, not an afterthought, but you can tell it's not their skill set. So the SEQTRAK app has been a lifesaver. All right, so do we understand that concept of we have different things that we can change about every sound, from basic sound design stuff to effects? This row, this column of knobs here is what, oh, sorry. Duh, show the device. This column of knobs here is what adjusts those parameters, and we can change which parameters we're even changing by pushing the button. I hope that makes sense. People dig the app, it seems. Oh, let's see. Manuel says, got my SEQTRAK ordered and shipped from my wife for my 50th birthday. So I have still 14 days to go until I can open the package and use it. I can't wait. That's awesome. I hope this stream can be a bit of a helpful resource for you in pre-gaming that. Nice. All right, let me see. I did something to my chat window and it made it like zoomed in and tiny. Let's see if I can open that back up at the normal size. All right, somebody chat something so I can be sure it's working. Oh, it's working. It's just zoomed in. All right. Chat. Thank you, Blossom. What's up, G Brown? Welcome. Yeah, the app is great. Tons more parameters and settings that can't be changed on the device there, especially the effects section. Yeah, you can basically tailor the specific effects that you want on the device. Now, what I'll say is, see how I'm tilting this forward? I was using it on my stand, my XTS stand from Analog Cases yesterday, and that is a much more comfortable situation. When I'm looking at the device laid on my desk like this, it can really easy catch glare from lights and make me not aware of what I'm controlling. But especially in daylight, which y'all probably notice, I have this curtain now. I don't know if you can notice that, because the blinding sun and heat is coming in this way. But even in like decent indoor daylight, it became hard to see some of these lights. Tilting the device up like this, poof, chef's kiss, perfect. Up like this, I should say. Tilting it up like this. But of course, we're doing a stream now, and I want you all to be able to see it. You guys matter more than me today. But definitely a stand, I feel, improves the experience of this. All right, so we can change different parameters of every sound. I think you all get that. Since I have the kick soloed, let me explain the concept of these buttons on the side here. First, we have volume up and down, which you have to press and hold to make actual adjustments. We have a delete key, which we can use to delete patterns. So I could actually hold delete, and you can see little red lights here indicating patterns. So if we're on that kick pattern we just made, I can delete that kick pattern by holding delete. I can mute tracks by holding mute and muting them. That's what I was doing during that performance at the top. I can solo tracks, same principle. We have the kick unsoloed now, but soloed now. And page is what helps us navigate across different pages of our drum patterns. So these are another layer of function buttons here. Let me click play. I was going to show you parameter locking since we just talked about all those effects. So let's talk parameter locking. We'll go do a new drum pattern again, a 4 to the floor, or a little extra spice there. And I also have swing engaged here, which there's a little swing button over here, as well as your BPM and stuff. So basic function buttons on either side. All right, so if I hold down a button here, I should be able to parameter lock, let's say reverb to this step. Let's see if that worked. Now the light is purple, so I think I did it right. So we can now hear that step, it's got that reverb parameter locked on it. Go ahead, turn that back down. So in earlier patterns, what I was actually doing with the kick, which I think is nice to make better kick patterns in general, is I was adjusting. Oh, I've been doing this a couple times here and there where I accidentally rest my hand on these touch strips, which I haven't even talked about yet, but these are touch strips, so beware. I'm going to go ahead and just adjust the volume. So I'm cycling through, I'm finding the selection, volume. Let's turn the volume of this particular step down. You can make slightly more dynamic kick patterns that way with accents, etc. Let's unsolo this. Where do you all want to go next? What do you all want to know about? All right, let me just mention these touch strips on the side here anyway, since they're pretty basic to understand. We have an effects level touch strip, we have a high pass, and a repeater. These can be adjusted and changed in the app. This is just how they come on the device by default. I really like their approach to the effects channel here because we've got a little switch here which can switch it from being a master level effect or a single track effect, which will affect the track that you're currently selected on. So let me select my snare track. On my snare track, the distortion effect is on. So hear that distortion on the snare. So I can quickly swap from that to a master effect, which is just more like a chorusy thing. So that's a lot of fun. This knob right here is going to help you change what effect you're actually on. So again, in using these little LED lights, this strip here as an indicator, I'm on the modulation category. And as I scan through these different lights, these will be different presets of effects in the modulation category. Let's hear the difference of the sounds. Change. And there we went into the distortion category. So as I scroll through this, these are the master effects we're scrolling through now. I can scroll all the way up through different filters. Reverb. Compression. Distortion, modulation, and then down to ducker, and then there's other. And again, using this in combination with the app. Here, let me bring that up. Take a look right here. This is the effect that we're scrolling through. So as I scroll through the effects, beat repeat, ducker, rotary speaker. again, in real time, the app reflecting what I'm doing on the device. Auto pan. If we're coming through in stereo, you'll know it now. I think that's pretty straightforward, eh? Yes, so then high pass and repeater, which again can be controlled in the app that I just showed you. So that's how effects work, and that's what these touch strips are. Where do we go next, chat? Where do we go next? Is it a synth or a sampler or something? I don't know like anything about this, but it seems really cool. Good question, Blossom. It's both a synth and a basic sampler. So let's get into that. Obviously, we have our drum section, but we haven't gotten into the synth section yet. It works kind of similarly to the drum section. Those are the current sounds that I have selected. 3 synth tracks. And this synth track is an FM synth, DX. This is the sampler track. Let's just start with a synth track. So as you can hear, I have a bass sound on this track selected. And with this selection here, this being the kind of synth and sampler section, I have 7 notes to play. Right from the device. And you can hear that they're in key. We're set to C minor. Scale and key are things that can be changed using the scale and key buttons up here on top. This isn't the only way to play in notes on the device. I can hold Alt and press key. And now this, instead of being a sequencer, becomes a chromatic keyboard. I feel like a lot of devices do this where they give you the option to have a chromatic keyboard, which is fine. Having access to that is definitely useful. But I wish that they would extend, and this is common across many companies that implement this, that they would extend the scales and keys to their playable note mode. Because I wish I could play all 16 of these as in-key notes and have access to like something like 2 octaves. But nonetheless, that's there, and we can also hook up a MIDI keyboard to do that. So let's go back into the sequencer. There's a really great selection of sounds here. In fact, I'm going to jump to a different project. Let me jump to this other project that I started the other day. I just held the project button down and selected the one of the 8 project slots. Something a little poppier here. So let me see, which synth do I want to hear? Solo it. Great. So this is a chord instrument. You're probably thinking, how the heck can I play chords on this thing? Well, as you can see, I got one note touch capability on the chords because every synth, we can use these controls once again to change between chord or mono and poly. So let me jump back up to mono poly. We get our single notes. And then let me jump back down to chord. These are chords in key of the scale. So good job, Yamaha, on that. It's not just like this chromatic selection of major chords or something like that. These are in context. So, as you can see, this pattern that we're hearing here is recorded into slot 1 on the synth 1 track. Let me scroll the wheel so that we're in slot 2. And suddenly, there ain't no notes there. So let's unsolo this. And I'm going to ignore our bass line here just so I can demo recording something for you all. Now, you're saying, oh, you got 7 notes here. What about this one button? Well, that's a record button. So by default, we're going to be recording 1 bar. So there we recorded 1 bar, but obviously we probably want to record more than that. Now, remember I showed you before, this is a grinds my gears ranty segment. Remember how I showed you before when we were on the kick drum? If I want to make the kick drum longer, I hold the page button and I turn the kick drum knob. And then the pattern becomes longer. So I can go from 1 bar to 2 bars to 4 bars to 8 bars. Well, guess what? That ain't the case on the synths. It's a different process. You have to hold the bar length button and just click it. So we currently have 1 bar. Now let's jump to 2 bars. Now let's jump to 4 bars and 8 bars. Apparently I can't get to 3 bars. I'm going to clear this pattern. So now we have a 4 bar pattern. All right, let's record that. 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 1, 2, ready, go. All right. So now we've recorded a basic chord idea. That process makes sense? Any question on that process? The Gig Is Up is offering some good info in the chat. You can also enter advanced mode to access 2 more effects parameters on a single track. High pass, repeater, touch strips by holding the button for 5 seconds under the effects section. That is good to know. Another one of those under the hood key combinations you gotta memorize. Now, what's interesting and why I don't understand why it's like this is I'm not seeing the synth tracks reflected here in the sequencer. I'm actually seeing the kick reflected here in the sequencer. Auto sustain, or can you hook up a manual sustain? Good question, Josh West. Not auto sustain. It recorded the note for as long as I held it for, but for instance, here, let me actually figure out how to get to the sequencer of the synth, because I don't know why it's not showing that, but I know it's another key command. Did I write it down in my handy dandy notebook? Yo, what's up, Hail Nomad? Nice to see you. Yeah, I know how to make the samples longer. But this is kind of crazy. Let's see. Micro timing. Yeah. I'll get to that later. Motion record. I'll get to that as well. Yeah, it's very interesting. So I've been, we live in an age where RTFM, read the effing manual, is a super easy piece of advice to follow because I have gone ahead and bookmarked it here, and Yamaha's done a great thing of making it searchable. It's not just a PDF. So let me see synth pattern. On the sequencer. I don't know why. Why? Tracks and patterns, synth tracks. Let's see. Sequence. No, I can't even find that on this page. That's weird. Why is it not showing me the actual step sequencer on the pattern? Muting solo, changing of sound track, selecting auditioning tracks, copying in patterns. That is bizarre. My SEQTRAK experts, if you're in the chat, let me know so I can figure that out. But this was something yesterday, but I can't believe I would have to go into another mode to know this. Here, let's go here. That's our bass. Ah, there we go. I figured it out. I had to hold the page button, but I don't understand why that would ever be a thing. I pretty much always want to be looking at the sequence for the actual instrument that I'm playing. What Yoda doing? What is Yoda doing? Yoda's chilling, guarding the studio. All right, so I just held page and selected the note. So I can hold a pad down. Let me see. And if I turn the all button, I can see how long the note is held for. So let's hold that note for a little bit longer, all the way to the next one. And again, I'll have to hit the page button to go between pages of this pattern. This is another shortcoming of many of these pieces of gear, in my opinion, where you got pages and pages of a sequence. But you want to use your 16 pads usually to represent that sequence, which results in your users paging through pages of musical ideas. It's no one's ever quite hit it right. And it almost makes me think about these LEDs that are used throughout the device. Like if there could be some LED grid representation, 32 LEDs that can show me where I am in the pattern or like more easily navigate. I'm not sure what the solution is, but I do find that to be a workflow killer on a lot of these devices. Not so much a workflow killer, but I don't know. It's just hard to page through different pages of a 4-bar loop, you know? Some, what's good? Thank you for jumping in. Can't wait to get my hands on this thing. Yeah, it's pretty cool. We're having fun with it. All right, I think there were questions earlier that I did not address. So sorry. If you asked a question and I didn't answer it, please feel free to ask it again. I want to pair one with my Orbit 2. I don't know. Well, you could do sampling through it, I guess. You could sample the Orbit 2 through it. I don't know how well these two would play together, but these play especially well together with a MIDI controller. Oh, I guess I should talk about the sampler. So I hope that made sense on how to sequence the synths. I guess I can tell you about micro timing. Like that one chord hit. I hope this works for the synth tracks. I can do some micro timing with that. Like let's make it super early. Let me hold that down. I don't know if you could hear the difference there, but I'm going to hold that down, and now I'm going to push that chord to be super late. So we're doing micro timing with that. Hold down the step, turn the applicable tracks knob, and that's how you can get some off-the-grid feel. In the last track, I was using that on the drums. I'll jump back to that later, if you want to hear what that's more about. Where did I say we're going to go next? Oh, yes, the sampler. Oh, well, before we get into the sampler, I should... let's go through like some of the synth sounds, I guess. Maybe I should open a completely new project. Yeah, there's nothing here besides a kick. Let's go on Synth 1. If I hold down the sound button, these are different types of sound banks. So right now, oh gosh, that's not what I wanted. Let's go through different sounds. These are actually bass sounds. And I'm going to pull out the handy dandy app and show you here for a second. Hold down sound knob, and then my grid becomes a way to select these different categories. So I can select the synth lead category or the piano. That's not how that works. The piano category. Now listen to this. So we have a whole piano category here. Some are automatically set to chord mode, but even like this one that is not set to chord mode, you can just change it. Good question from Bobby Limes in the chat. It is not a sample chopping machine. No, it's just going to play one-shot samples. We'll jump back into the samples in a minute. I just wanted to do a quick sound demo. So as I scroll through here in the sounds, these will be different types of pianos. Let me jump to, there's pad sounds. Another thing I want to applaud Yamaha for is great sound selection here. All I want to say is some people, cough, cough, Novation, they love loading their devices with sound selections that are perfect for people who make acid music. And it's like, you know what? That's a little aggressive of a choice to load your device with like sounds that are perfect for acid music. Not everybody's making acid music. But alas. I'll say Yamaha did a good job with the sound selection here because there's a good variety of sounds, and I would say they're pretty high quality sounds. People coming to my house every single day. All right. Chat, you're going to have to give me a quick moment here. I think there's somebody at my door. But if you have any more questions, please let me know. I will answer them. I'm going to throw up my BRB screen so you all can be in a moment of zen. And I'll be right back in less than... I'm back. Are you still there, chat? Yeah, my little rant about sound selection. Where did that chat go from? Ayote. That's ultimately why I ditched Novation. I just don't understand. I think Arturia has done a good job with their synths and stuff, but I remember when I got the Micro Freak for the first time, the first preset when you load that up is just this bizarre noise sound. It's like, why? Put something on there that I can like use. Like, I don't want to have to go and like sound design a whole bunch of sounds myself. I think it's Ableton, perfect example. Ableton Live, the synth presets and sounds that they include in that. I don't want to get into it. They're not good, is what I'm trying to say. Did I order pizza? No. No, and I just ran up the stairs, so I'm out of breath. Sorry about that. Okay, I wanted to just showcase a little more sound selection. That's pad sounds. Again, I'm here and looking in the app so I can better understand these categories. And eventually, I guess I could memorize them. Like, it's everything from these super acoustic sounding, like strings and woodwinds and brass. Actually, let me go to the woodwind section. What's up, King Julian? Thank you for jumping in here. How do I get to key mode? All in key? Yes. So that sounds pretty good, right? For a string sound. So let's go ahead and, what is this? Chord sound? Nice. If this is too loud or too soft, you all can let me know as well. Hold down sound. Let's jump to brass. Not record, brass. That's your standard like synth trumpet sound, I feel. But this, on the other hand, flugelhorn. I'm showing these off because these are not like synthy sounds, but they still sound good. I want to jump down to woodwinds because there's a couple funny saxophone sounds that I think are not terrible. Like that. Pretty cool, eh? All right, I don't want to go too much into sound selection if you all are bored by it, but I should point out that there is like SFX, just like bizarre sounds. You also have the ability to favorite certain sounds. All right, you can hear that sound is arpeggiated. And we can arpeggiate any of the synth sounds. So let me jump back to a sound that is not arpeggiated. I'm in the rhythmic section right now, so let's just go ahead and jump up to... Let's go to synth lead. Not that synth lead. All right, and you know, I am going to have to recall the manual again for how to enter the arpeggiator. ARP. Synth sound parameter adjustment. Wow, this is just a bizarre way to put the description there. Let's go here. ARP. I was praising this manual the other day or yesterday because it was very helpful. But now that I'm in the moment, it's like question. A lot of chat about Machina in the chat. Very interesting. Y'all are down with the Machina workflow? To me, it's just kind of a replication of the MPC workflow. So if that doesn't work for you, then I believe. Let me see. I believe it's down here in other. Yes. Okay. All right. So I guess it goes to show I have been memorizing some of this workflow pretty simply after one day. So any sound can be arpeggiated, and the arpeggiator's parameters can be changed, of course, right here on the device. That's octave, gate, speed. One thing I think is kind of odd, here in the app, I'm looking at all the things that I'm controlling, which, by the way, you do not need to have this app open to do everything I'm doing. The app is just reflecting what the device is doing, and it's giving me an on-screen visual of what's happening. But one thing that I find odd is the ARP speed is represented in percent. I don't know why. I guess I guess, I don't know, eighth notes, quarter notes. I guess that doesn't mean anything to people who maybe don't have a classical background, but I feel like it's a mathematical representation the same way that's better than percent. 50% of what? 50% of quarter note, I guess? I don't know. I just thought that was an odd choice to represent the speed as a percentage. So, of course, if you have a sound that is in chord mode, wait, let me put it in chord mode, you can now play arpeggiated chords with one note. So the synth is in chord mode and the arpeggiator is turned on. I'm going to point out here that now that these keys are fine, but I'll talk, I guess, about the overall build quality. This thing is shockingly lightweight. And you can take that as a good thing or a bad thing. I would, when I think about it in relation to some of my other devices, I feel more insecure about just tossing this thing in a bag with no case than I do all of my other gear. SP404, I can throw it in a bag. Even the circuit, because it's so thin, it's still solid. I could throw it in a bag. What are some other devices? OP1 Field. I mean, OP1 Field is made out of freaking metal. I still put it in a little case, but this thing is shockingly light plastic. And I think that plays a little bit with the way these keys work. Let me turn off the arpeggiator so I can try to demonstrate this. All right, arpeggiator off. I want you to look. It's not so bad. I'm going to have a little trouble. There is a way that I'm able to... There are certain instances where I press a key and no sound happens. Like here, I'm pressing the key. I'm hearing a click. I'm hearing a click. I don't know if I can best show this. The key is going down. That key is down. Release. Down. Release. Down. Release. There just isn't enough pressure there. So you do have to learn, like, oh, I need to put this much pressure on a key for it to happen. I'm sure analog cases will make a nice case for it. You're right, AOD. You're right, because they're the true OGs. Did anybody pick up any of those stands or the cases after my video? Is a question I wanted to know. Like I said, if I wasn't on stream right now, I would be using the... Here, let me grab that stand. And show it off. My 404 is on it currently, but this stand, if I was not on stream and using the overhead camera, this makes working with the SEQTRAK so much better. It's bad for you guys, but great for me. Wish I could show you all my POV here, but this is nice. This is a nice kind of setup here. It's facing me. It's a good desktop piece of kit. Yeah, these are very good stands. And check this out. Let's make it longer. This is the small version. And it also doesn't have the tray attached, obviously. So you can make it longer if you need to. All right, finally, let's talk about the sampler. Now that were there any other questions about synths and sounds? The DX, Synth 1 and Synth 2 have the same sound selection. However, the DX is a DX. It's an FM synth. So it's going to have a different sound selection. So I think the advantage that Yamaha has here is they've been making great sounding synths and keyboards and things for a long time. And they were not afraid of putting all the good sounds that they've made over the last however many years into a Groovebox type device. Puts them way ahead of the game. Like I said, much love to my friends over at Novation, but they definitely are trying to target a specific type of audience with the type of sound designs that they include on their devices. And being a synth-based device with one sampler track, the synth sounds are really important. Yeah, so just know that the DX has a bunch of other cool sounds in it. Let me see if I can get to pad. Listen to that. I mean, it's like having a DX in a box, you know? It is that. Yeah, great full sounds, very good attention to detail on these sounds. That's probably the most impressive part of this machine, I would say. All right, let's jump over to the sampler track. So 7 sample slots here that we can change through the same way we've been changing sounds before. So I'm just going to scroll through the sound option. Again, I'm using the on-screen guide. So we're now in the riser section. We want to jump to vocal count.
1, 1, 1, 2, 4, 5, 6.
3, 6, 1.
It's kind of funny what they chose to include in here and stuff, but I think there's a decent amount of.
Ooh, who? Okay, big up. Hey, wow, get funky.
There's some like singing ones too. Where did they go? Oh, those are going to be under. Where are the vocal like riffs and stuff? Probably not. Which I appreciated this. You all know I'm always using vocal samples and things like that. So there's no shortage of vocal stuff. But wait, did I miss the vocal phrases and stuff?
Hey!
So funny.
Money!
Money!
Yeah!
All right, I don't know where they are. I don't know why I can't. Oh, singing vocal. Duh. In the singing vocal section. And just like all the other sounds, don't forget, we can change the parameters of these samples, like the pitch. Panning, etc. All those other sound design options we talked about before, like attack decay, attack decay, sustain release, that is all here, including some effects and filter. Yo, Piccolo Black, what's good? How the stream's been going, my friend? All right. Now, one slight against this device here is that I just went into the other section on the sampler. And this other section is not really like I feel like other involves like it being like some bonus content, basically, some extras, you know? But what other actually is the start and end of your sample. So start, end, and then pitch envelope. So here I just sequenced that sample onto this pad, right? But here how it's super short, if I had recorded it in and held the note down, it'll record that info. If you want it to work the other way and work just on the step sequencer, you enter the note in, you hold down the step, you turn the all key, and you turn the all key. Now that was kind of slow to fill up the bars, and all of these knobs are slow to turn and make the actual adjustment. But being that these knobs are buttons and knobs at the same time, you can push them in and turn them, and it actually like goes faster. So I push it and turn it, it's way faster, and kind of just turning it without pushing it is like making more slight adjustments. So I thought that's also a very smart workflow thing by Yamaha. And that's what I keep coming up against here. Oh, by the way, I can now sequence another sample here. So you can sample all 7 of these sample sequences. Let's find a better sound. Oh gosh, I'm in the wrong category. All right, change the sound. And you can import your own samples. And don't worry, they do have a collection of animal sounds. So would this sampler be better than Arcade or Ableton Simpler? No, not at all. It's not even in the same ballpark. This is basically like basically you just have access to a library of samples that you can import yourself, or you can use the included library of samples and you can sequence them. You can do some basic things like changing the pitch and whatnot, but if you notice, here, let me find a good sound to demonstrate this with. If I change the pitch of this piano hit, it becomes shorter. If I pitch it up, it becomes shorter. If I pitch it down, it becomes longer, right? So when we're talking about more advanced samplers, especially ones that are included in a DAW or software, they're usually capable of doing time stretching and being aware of your tempo, etc. So let's just search for another sound. So you're basically using the sampler in conjunction with the drum sequencer and the music. It's not the same thing as, it's not a sampler. It has, how can I say it? It is a sampler, but it's not a very deep sampler. And there are more options for you in the software. A little better than an old Casio keyboard. Yeah, it's got like that kind of vibe to it. And this is Yamaha's like, I don't know, this is Yamaha's first foray into this since that era, I feel, of the old like weird drum machines and like the predecessors to what we currently know as groove boxes. So I kind of appreciate it in that way. And being that there's only one sampler track, so what I wouldn't do is use the sampler for things like percussion and stuff, more than likely, because we have a bunch of drum sounds available to us here. What did I want to show? I forget. So yes, we can have all of these sounds going as part of the sampler. So basically like a 7-part sampler, but don't forget that the effects are per track. So it's not like you can independently affect each individual sample. So if I go to single and I do a filter on this, it's affecting all the samples, right? There is an onboard mic, which we can record a sample. Which one of these tracks are we not using? This one. We're not using this one. Okay, so let's record a sample.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Hey! All right. I think you get 16 seconds of sample time on that, but you can record the sample and then tap out of recording with the record sample button at the top.
Hey!
Nice.
Hey! Hey!
So that was kind of easy, right? Similar to OP1, built-in mic, boom. It does have a built-in speaker too as well, I should say. It's nothing to write home about whatsoever, but it has it if that's important to you. I probably would very rarely sit down with this thing and just use it with the built-in speaker.
Hey!
Hey! So let's edit that sample a bit. I don't know what I just did. Oh, I know what I just did. Filter. Oh, I just did something crazy that I have no... Oh, I'm putting my hand on this dang... What did I do wrong? Something. Y'all, what did I do? I killed the sound. Somehow. Wait, maybe I messed... Maybe, USB audio glitch or something? Was it user error or was it me? I believe it was me. Yep. I put that filter on the effect. Always blame yourself first before you blame the device. Speaker could be useful for outdoor sampling session. Yeah, but I feel like that's a thing that's in commercials. Can I be honest with you all? Ableton makes this video like 3 times a year probably, so look out for it in 2024. They get a producer, they go outside, they sample a stick and some rocks and a stream, and then they're like, okay, now I'm going to turn this into music, and then they come back and they make a track where you can barely hear all those things, and they're like a little bit in the background. That was fun and cool, like the first time somebody made a video. And some artists go to like unique cool locations and do that, which makes it cool because they get unique sample sounds and then they base their track around those sample sounds. When it's just like, and I found some sticks and I found some rocks and I found some water and I'm going to sample it and make it in the background of my track, it's like, okay, that's not that interesting. But pay attention to how many times Ableton makes that video a year. Anyway, so that is to say, the comment of the speaker could be useful for doing outdoor sampling sessions. Your phone is way more useful for outdoor sampling sessions. The way more likely scenario is that you're somewhere, you hear a sound, you want to sample it, you sample it. No, but like very rarely, I think, are we going out like, I'm going to get this rock sample. You know what I mean? Like, it becomes like a forced thing so that we can simulate those videos, those ads, essentially. And I want us to be aware of that. Don't get me wrong. I sample outside all the time. I sample nature all the time. It's a great thing that you can do purposefully. And I don't think the SEQTRAK is something made for that. You're going to be sampling something and you're not actually going to know.
Hey!
Like if you're just using the speaker, you're not going to know like, oh, are there low frequencies in this? Did I get this? Did I get that? So just be aware of that. All right. Rant over. Less than 2 weeks to get the 20% off Ableton 12. I got the link in the description. It's an affiliate link. If you're upgrading or if you're buying Ableton Live, use the link. Support the channel. And yeah, Live 12 is coming, so prepare yourself.
Hey!
That was a little Mickey Mousey, huh? We got to filter this for sure. So the sound that you're hearing again is the onboard mic. All right, I'm actually going to do the pitch down, I think. But you can hear how it is slowed down when you pitch it down and shortened when you pitch it up. Ah, okay, so this is a good point. I totally forgot, and I made a mistake here. Everything that I just dialed in, let me tell you if I'm right or wrong. Everything I just dialed in, I can't be right, right? Let me confirm this. Yeah, that filtering is for all of the samples, not just that individual sound. That sounds like SpongeBob. Am I crazy? So, there's that. You could do resampling. You can resample the internal sounds, etc. Let me jump back to another project so I can show you how I used the sampler. Yeah, this is the one we started with today. Here's all these sampled sounds. That breath sound, that's from the mic. So I think that sounds pretty good. Got that little vocal chant. I don't think we're using that in the track. Little lasery sound. So all those are internal built-in sounds besides the breath gasp. All right, what do you all think? Questions, concerns, haikus, what do y'all want to talk about or know more about? I think we ran down everything. We got the drums, we've got the synths and the sampler, we got effects and changing the parameters and doing a bit of sound design, and we've got our master effects here. Oh, I guess I didn't show connecting a MIDI controller. Oh, the visualizer, I'll show that. We'll do that last. That is the thing that I have not dug into at all. All right, so I've got my Launch Key Mini here. The only reason I chose the Launch Key Mini is because I have a USB-B cable here ready to go and power it up, which means, all right, here we go. I can use this. Now, what is this monstrosity here? This is Yamaha's proprietary MIDI port, which kind of takes this 1/8 inch jack situation and gives you a breakout dongle, essentially, for MIDI in and MIDI out. It's a proprietary thing that Yamaha makes. They have a similar thing, or same thing, for the, you all know I have the Yamaha Reface CP. It's the same vibe. Now, why am I hearing that sound? That's so interesting. This always kind of happens with some interference. You hear it too. Yeah, here. Let me see if that has to do with audio over USB. Oh, no. I know what I was probably doing. I was probably plugging it into the wrong port. Let's try. Let's see. One more time. Buzz sound. No, it's there. Why is it there is the question. Sample that buzz. This didn't happen yesterday, so let's try unplugging the USB. I didn't even mention at the outset that this is battery operated and USB charged. So they've got that leg up on the SP44. Not that they're the same class of device, but you know. Wait, what am I doing wrong? Oh, I'm so dumb? Oh, what am I even doing? I like have the wires all plugged in the wrong thing. Okay. Sorry, chat. Let me get my ducks in a row here. MIDI, not audio in. Let's try this on USB again and see what happens. If I can connect to the proper ports. I'm connected to MIDI. This is me all day. All right. The app seamlessly refound the device. Now let's see what happens when I connect to live again. Okay, I think that was just dumb me user error plugging into the wrong port on the side, which is not difficult to do because they're all right next to each other. All right, so on the launch key, I can change different channels. I believe somebody at the beginning asks, can you control the drums via a MIDI controller? And yes. So that these are numbers 1 through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, I believe. Let's test that theory. We should be on the last perk track. If I go here, and we can actually play the, here, let me move that so you can see it all. We can actually play the drum tracks chromatically when we're using a MIDI keyboard like this. So all I'm doing is changing the channel on my MIDI controller, which every MIDI controller that you have that has some type of MIDI out will likely have the ability to change channel. It's not like using a DAW where you just grab your keyboard and you change between different tracks. You have to actually change the channel that it's sending MIDI signals out on. Then, if I go here, we have Synth 1. Then we have Synth 2. And then we can jump to the DX. Oh, I forgot I changed projects. So I think a MIDI controller greatly improves the experience with this device because, like I said, the synth sounds, the DX and the proper synth sounds are really great. And there's a lot of them. And I do believe there are actually sound packs to download. Let me jump back in here and show off the software a little more. Let's poke around in this software a bit. I know somewhere Dynamic Tutorial is really nice. Actually, let me point that out, because if you click any button on the device, it will kind of tell you what that button does. Change sound, etc. All right, so that's dynamic tutorial situation. Where is, I saw this. The GUI editor is what we were in before. So you can jump anywhere with your mouse and click around, but it will also adapt to you as you change. Where are all these sound packs? I don't know where I saw that. There's apparently a bunch of sound packs to download. Don't take my word for it. I think if you just Google SEQTRAK sound pack, you'll find it. Look at this, though. That's interesting to see. The pattern is there. That is the pattern for Synth 1. That's the bass pattern. So that's kind of cool. No way to export the stems out of this thing, though, via USB, which I guess I'll start getting into maybe my final thoughts here on this thing. Here's the problem I see companies running into. They want to make these standalone boxes that do everything. And if I actually go to the, if I just Google SEQTRAK, I go to Yamaha's page, it is called, they call it a Unlock Your Creativity Anywhere, a mobile music idea station. Now that should be pretty telling of what they want you to be able to do with this device. They want you to be able to use it on the go. It's an idea station. It's not called a performance box. It's not even called a groove box. I mean, I would categorize it as a groove box, but they don't call it that. But then on the other hand, see, all-in-one system. Okay, drum, synth, sound design, sequencing. Yes, yes, yes. They put a lot of effort into the software editor, which is good. Make music on the go is good, although, like, is it a portable form factor? A portable form factor to me is something that can easily fit into a bag. Now, this can, again, easily fit into a bag, just like my launch key can. I mean, it's a little thicker than the launch key, but like I said, I would want a case for it. It's pretty lightweight, which is good for your bag. I carried a SB404 around in Korea, and that was no light task. That was a heavy box to carry around. It's kind of why I have gravitated more towards something like this, the OP1 Field, which is obviously a lot more expensive than this. And on the other hand, if we're going to talk about these devices, the step sequencing is still kind of like a king in terms of like how we sequence music, how we make music, especially when we're making music in grooves. Like this groove here. Actually, can you just listen to the snare? The snare, the clap, and the kick here. Listen to how the snares are just a little off. Like I use micro timing for that, and I think that's cool. Oh, sorry. I can't solo multiple things, but I can mute multiple things. So let me mute everything besides the kick, snare, and clap. Hear how those snares are just a little off and a little more natural? That's really easy. So, all right, here's my point. Anyway, let me move the launch key out of the picture. Step sequencing and sequencing that way is just a great workflow, especially for rhythms and things like that, and especially for an on-the-go box. Being able to play things in real time, also a phenomenal thing to be able to do. You can do both of these things with with this box. OP1 Field, I'm stuck with this tape recording format, which is kind of clunky and imperfect when you're actually trying to piece songs together. You're working with, like, it's just like, imagine you're working with a tape. So when you record 4 bars, if you punch in and there's a little bit of sound, or if you punch out and the sound hasn't fully dissipated or faded out, you're going to get a little click sound. You're also working in tape, so it's not like you're working with MIDI, so it's not easy to edit and mess with the notes after you record them. I enjoy working with OP1 Field. I love carrying it with me. It feels like a premium device, and I'm not worried about it when I'm traveling. I'm not worried about it like breaking. Workflow-wise, it's a hyper-specific workflow. SEQTRAK, more of a user-friendly workflow in terms of this sequencer and things like that. And also, now after spending just 2 days now, today being the second day with it, I'm finding that I'm remembering the workflow, scrolling through different sounds, etc., things like that. If you want to talk about the SB404, on the other hand, SB404, okay, form factor wise, it's a bit chunkier. Even though footprint wise, like if I align them vertically, it might seem like, oh, similar, but chunkier. Thicker, wider, but the SB404's specialty is, of course, being a sampler. So we're not going to fault it for not doing everything perfect. Like, we're not going to fault any of these devices for doing something that it's not prioritizing imperfectly. But my issue with the SB404 is the sequencing. There is a pattern sequencer. There's even a step sequencer on this thing, but it's incredibly hard to access and not all that intuitive. Just like you saw here on the SEQTRAK, where you have to hold this button and do this. Oh, how do I do this? Let me reference my notes, blah, blah, blah. SP404 is that, but to a higher degree. We've got all these buttons here, all these labels. Most of these labels and most of these buttons, they do what they say they do, but they also do 5 other things when combined with another button. What you have to remember, folks, is you should not be buying all these pieces of gear. Why do I have all these pieces of gear? 1, I'm psychotic. 2, I get them for free. And I have a YouTube channel where I cover all this different type of music tech. I can't stress this enough. Don't get the impression that you follow this channel and like, oh, TAETRO has all this gear, so I don't need all this gear. I want to make sure that's always clear. I kind of feel like most people know that, but I also think some people can get susceptible to be like, wow, look at all that gear. I need to have that much gear. You don't. Like somebody said at the beginning, it is like having an instrument. If you have any one of these devices and you learn it and you become fluent in it, just like if you learned trumpet and you became fluent in trumpet, or if you learned guitar, you became fluent in guitar, those instruments, a trumpet can't sound like a guitar can't sound like a trumpet. They have their limitations. Certain types of voicings. A trumpet is a monophonic instrument where a guitar can play chords, right? You don't hear a guitar player or a trumpet player complaining about those things because they picked their instrument, they studied it, and they mastered it. Electronic music instruments are the same. No matter how much they try to sell you a new box, ultimately, I don't think you're going to be truly happy as a performer, as an electronic musician, as a musician in the modern world using electronic devices. You're not going to be happy until you pick something and master it and just use it as your main creation tool. A lot of influencers will simply make you feel like you have to have it. Well, let's examine that a little, G Brown, because I hear that, but I also want to put a little more ownership on the audience, because my channel is mostly a very positive channel, right? Like if you look at most of my videos, any piece of gear that I'm using, I'm usually pretty positive on, unless it's in rare cases. Why? It's not because like I'm a hyper optimistic person. It's not because I want to make you feel like you need to have it. It's not because I want you to go use my affiliate link and buy it. No, it's because I have this channel because I love music tech and I love seeing the possibilities with music tech. And with every piece of gear that I look at, I want to show you the possibilities with it. I don't want to take every piece of gear and say, well, this thing can't do this, but this thing can, and this thing can't do this, but that thing can. I would just be doing constant product comparisons all day. So ask yourself, it could be true that some people make you really want to sell you something, right? So they're using like selling tactics to do that. But it could also be that you see somebody using something and they have a positive vibe and they're able to make something cool with it. And you're thinking inside like, wow, if I get something like that, if I get that device, I can make something like that, or I can have that same experience, which ultimately could be true. But you have to understand that the person using the gear, like if we're talking about me, I have years and years of experience in music tech and music in general, and I have my musical influences, etc. There's a lot of things that go into what I'm able to do with a device that have nothing to do with the device itself. Does that make sense? So always like push back on yourself a little bit, or like always be like slightly skeptical. Not of the person on screen, I think. Well, you can be skeptical of the person on the screen, of course, but be skeptical of your reaction to things. One thing that I often see is when a product gets announced, people start making like fan fiction about the product that has come out. People start being like, oh, it'll be great if I can do this and if I can do that. And it's like, okay, well, it doesn't say you can do this or that. You assumed that from watching this video. And gotta point this out again, we live in an age where anybody right now, if you think this product is for you, but you're not so sure, if you're not so sure if it does this or if it does that, go Google the product manual and search through it. Search for the key terms that you want to know, or just read through it. Read through the different sections so that you don't have a false idea of what the device actually does when you're buying it. So my just little rant there is, I see a lot of hate coming towards like people myself and other folks that are just trying to do the coverage and just trying to like just trying to show off like what these devices can do in a positive way and show you like, hey, here's what's possible. And then what ultimately happens is people with not enough experience buy a device and get mad because they're like, dang, I can't do what that person did on screen. It's like, yeah, because it's not about the device. It's about all the foundational knowledge that comes with being able to use a device like this. I wouldn't expect somebody else, well, depending on your level of experience, right? But I wouldn't expect somebody who's kind of new to electronic music and things to just be able to sit down in a day and make this beat with this piece of gear. Why? Because even though this is a new piece of gear with its own workflow, there are certain principles that have carried over from other types of gear. There are certain sound design principles I understand that when I go into a certain menu and I want to adjust a sound, I know what I'm doing already. It's a lot of dynamics there. So just be skeptical of yourself. Remember before when I plugged this MIDI cable in and it was making that buzzing sound? Imagine if I had stopped there and I was being like, oh, Yamaha, they make a crappy MIDI port. Every time I plug in, it's buzzing. And it's like, no, I just plugged it into the wrong port. Or before, when I had my master filter down on the sampler track and I wasn't getting any sound out of the device. I wasn't like, oh, this device is buggy. I can't hear any sound out of it, blah, blah, blah. I was like, no, what did I do wrong? So with new gear, ask yourself, wow, Beats had a really great video on this thing. He's making cool stuff with it, and he's shown it off like it's really cool. But be skeptical of yourself being overly hyped and making assumptions that are not actually true, and watch the videos and the reviews and the overviews for what they are, not based on what you want it to be, I guess. I hope that makes sense. Does that make sense to everybody? Kate Davies says, personal rule, I never buy a piece of gear straight after watching a review. I wait at least 3 days to give me some time to think if I really need it or if I was just excited or even FOMO. Exactly. This is true with not just music gear, folks. This is like consumerism 101. Like you go, oh, I can't even think the last time that I bought something like in a store, like that I was just like not going out to buy something. I was in a mall or something and I was like, oh, I see that and I like that. Let me buy that. So rare. I feel like that's even easier to do online. Like you don't even need a thing or you don't even want a thing. And then you stumble across a video or a picture and you're like, oh, now I want to buy that thing. And suddenly you've just spent a bunch of money. The waiting 3 days that Kate just mentioned, super smart. If after 3 days you're still thinking about it and you still want it, then maybe do a little more research, dig into it a bit more, and it's probably true. But maybe just you were just hyped up that first day, you know? Marino says, I would say 3 months is even better. Krios, Yamaha are putting some cool production gear out these days. They have this and those new drum pads. Yes. I added those new drum pads to my zzounds wish list. That's something we might be able to check out in a future video or stream. Piccolo Black says, had to do that with Chompy. So glad I didn't buy it. Was it something about the product, Piccolo Black, or was it you just waited and you realized like, oh, you didn't need it? I'm curious to know. But in reality, the only thing I don't have on this desk that should be on this desk are like Novation circuits, right? To compare, I think. In reality, these devices have a lot of crossover between them. A lot of crossover in these devices. But they also have their specialties. I can do weird sound design stuff and sampling and making sample instruments really easy on the OP1. I love that about the OP1. SP404, I can sample things into this, mix and manipulate them, and make just crazy cool, especially lo-fi sounds on this thing. I love that about this thing. SEQTRAK, after 2 days, I can really easily put together beats and grooves that I'm happy with in a pretty fast workflow. So strength here that I'm seeing after 2 days is the rhythmic side of things, the drum programming, and it's got great synth sounds in it. Circuit tracks and circuit rhythm, those workflows are great. The way you can change from pattern to pattern on those things and chain patterns together and use probability, that's one thing I really wish SEQTRAK had, was probability. Also really great. I can say nice things about all these devices. That does not mean you should buy all these devices. That doesn't mean one is better than the other. It just means that they're all different. And then, so I saw, I think, was it Bobby who was talking about trying to find the perfect device? I think the real answer is there's no perfect device, you know? You got to understand a little bit about yourself and how you like to make music, to understand what kind of device is going to suit you best. And that one device might not suit you best. I'm not saying buy multiple devices, but I'm saying like, for one purpose, for weird sample manipulation, I love using the 404. But if I want to like make some cool ambient fun ideas and play out some sample instruments here, the OP1 is the way to go. If I want to get grooving, I'm jumping on this thing. I'm not making drum beats like this on either of these devices. So what do you want to be doing with a standalone device? That's the question. What I'm finding is that none of the standalone devices are going to take you from zero to finished track very efficiently. Until you get into devices the size and the price of MPCs and Ableton Push, that kind of thing. The Gig is Up says, I missed a lot of the stream, unfortunately. Had to make pizza. Wow. Pizza's in the chat. How are you able to get along with the SEQTRAK? I'm getting along pretty good with it, I would say. It's only 2 days in. I don't want to give too much hardcore judgment. Bought the AG06 for streaming. Where's my on-screen stuff? And I love it. It's a great little mixer. Nice. So Piccolo Black on the chomp, he says, I waited and realized this is not something I need or want. That's perfectly okay. Don't get caught up in the hype, folks. Really good marketing, though. I think it's like a lot of these companies are fantastic at their marketing, but it's also like we're musicians and artists, right? So anytime we see a new tool that evokes some type of creative energy and that is showcased creatively and the person is making something so cool on it, no doubt we're going to think that device is awesome. But now go watch the marketing video for every other device in that device category. Like watch them all at once, put them all up on your screen and hit play on them one by one and realize that you can feel that feeling watching anything. You know what's another cool trick for curing consumerism? After you've already bought something, or if you have a piece of gear that you haven't used in a while, go find the like launch trailer for that game. Piece of gear. Go find the initial product performance with that piece of gear and watch it like you don't already own it. Watch that stuff, get hyped, and then be like, I think I'll buy that thing. And instead of going into zzounds.com, link in the description, typing in the product name and buying it, go over to your closet. Oh, I already have this, but pretend it's new. Hold it like it's new. Smell it like it's new. And then use it. Trick yourself into thinking you just bought some new gear, I guess is what I'm saying. That can work for any consumer product, I feel. Chompy, super limited, but I was enticed initially. I think I saw a video of someone watching a Heinbach video, and I came down off the cloud. Yeah. let me see something. Sorry, I'm navigating the chat windows. Where are you? Here you are. Okay, I messed up. All right. I thought it had that. Were you referencing the probability stuff, Big Tower? Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think SEQTRAK has probability. I know I can edit the sounds per each step. I can parameter lock the steps, but I don't know if it has the probability. What's everybody got going on this week, by the way? Oh, member milestone chat. Let's get that on screen. Gonna go back and watch the cook up. Big love, fam. Yeah, we didn't get much into cooking up today. I'll warn you on that. I just played some beats that I had already made, and then I walked through the device. But I hope it's still helpful. More streaming, says Piccolo Black. Piccolo Black, what are you gonna be streaming? When are you gonna be streaming next, and what are you gonna be up to so that people can know to go watch? Can you stem it out? Asks G Brown. Okay, I went on a long tangent there, and I didn't actually tie up my point in a bow. My point was, every device that comes out wants to be everything all at once. And in doing that, it doesn't really master one particular thing. So while I think the SEQTRAK is pretty cool and the drum sequencing and grooving, I'm really liking that. If this is truly meant to be a mobile music idea station, essentially a mobile music sketchpad is what I read off of that. Why have these touch strips for performance effects? And why not have like stem out recording so that I can take those ideas and get them to a finished product? Why not have a quicker way to access patterns? Actually, this is one thing I didn't demonstrate before. This all knob here, remember these 3 lights that represent different patterns? You can have 6 patterns per track. This all knob here changes all of the tracks to being the same pattern. So you could build up scenes that way. If I click here, I can go from seeing patterns 1 through 3 to seeing patterns 4 through 6. I didn't show that before, but I feel like that's crucial. So my thing is like, could they have dug deeper? Could they have dug deeper into the general concept of this being an idea workstation? Could they have taken some of the performance stuff out of it? That no doubt the performance stuff is fun, but could they have leaned more heavily into the idea station aspect of it? I did not show off the visualizer. I can show that off if that's something you all want to see, because it's pretty deep. The phone connectivity is cool. I haven't tried the apps on my mobile devices. I've just used the desktop app so far. A few basic performance features are fine, but it's like, okay, but imagine if they copied Electron's Overbridge. That would have been amazing for my workflow. Right. Who's to say? That could be coming. The reason I think this device is exciting is because this space needs more competition, of course. I mean, there's tons of freaking little groove boxes and music making boxes on the go devices out there, but Yamaha jumping into the ring, I hope it like pushes it forward. Waiting to see what Novation does next. I think Piccolo Black said earlier that waiting for the OP1 killer. I'm waiting for the OP1 killer as well. I feel like Novation is in a primed spot to do it, but who knows? I think my OP1 field is getting a bit yellow from sunlight exposure. It's getting a tan. Okay, you want to see this? I thought this was gimmicky at first, but it's like pretty deep. Oh, by the way, I'll put this on screen. Piccolo Black will be streaming at 3 p.m. PST, hanging out, testing FL Studio. Stream after testing Bitwig. Oh, interesting. So follow Piccolo Black if you want to tune into some fun streams. Who's working on their community garden track, by the way? Y'all doing community garden? www.taetro.com/garden. Best new competitive features: audio over USB and mobile device integration. Well, I'll say audio over USB has become pretty much standard. 404 has it. OP1 has it. SEQTRAK has it. What does not have it? Even the model cycles, model samples have that, and those are kind of like 1/2 generation before. The circuits do not have that, and those are even earlier generation. So Ayote working on the garden. White Whisker been working in the garden. Make my submission tomorrow with the SEQTRAK. Well, gig is up. The community garden is based on plugin sounds, but if you can find a way to incorporate the SEQTRAK with your DAW, like add drums on top of the sounds and stuff, you know, that kind of thing. All right, let's take a look at the visualizer. This is kind of the most wild thing about this whole thing. Tiffany Anthony said, my garden stuff isn't growing well, but I'm determined to. Folks, if you're working on your community garden stuff, do not get caught up in making a cinematic track. Make a beat that you would normally make. Find sounds within there that you can use to do that. Use it as a sequencer for my DAW. Cool, cool, cool. All right. Visualizer. Look at this thing. This is kind of crazy. So you can generate these visuals that will react to your sounds. Here's a bunch of presets. Where should we start? Let's start with this one. So you notice that it has the SEQTRAK there. We have the orange one, so we could change it to be the orange one. Or we could just turn it off and just do visuals. So if I hit play on the SEQTRAK, it's going to start reacting. So let's add an object to the kick. Let's just add this circle. Like, this is what I'm talking about. When I first saw them demonstrate this, I thought it was totally a gimmick. And maybe it is still a little bit of a gimmick. However, it's a deep visualizer. Like, look at all these settings. Deformation off. Oh, hell yeah. Let's do that spiky ball thing. Intensity a lot. Reaction 5. That's the preview. Okay, it's always on. Motion, material, colors. All right, I don't really know what I'm doing here. Okay, now I can change this in space. Position, I want to change the position. Let's go this way and this way. Let's change the size. Let's go bigger. So now if I hit play, this should be linked to the kick, right? Yes. Check that out. Okay, now let's go back. Let's add something to the snare. Let's look at all these objects. See, before I was looking at... Oh. Here we go. I'll say, oh, let's have that bounce. Deformation. Okay, let's do the wave on this one. I think it should be less intense. All right, that's linked to the snare. Let's change its position. There's like rhinoceroses and stuff you can put in here. I gotta show that to you in a minute. Position, move. But do you see what's going on here? If you could become good at this, this would be dope for like making projected visuals for your sound. Okay, now the Nyangaseo is reacting to the snare and that ball is reacting to the kick. Okay, let's go back. We're not in like the actual, we're in the working mode. We're not in the actual final mode to actually make the visual. All right, I did not do this before where you can assign it to the different things. Other objects. Check this out. This is where things start to get crazy. Should we go elephant? Deformation. All right, now I know what deformation does. I don't understand what these triggers are. Oh, snare. Let's do clap. Okay, let's do perk 2. No, let's do bass. The elephant is going to trigger the from the bass. Let's do an intense reaction. Rhino. Rhino. All right, let's place this in space now. This is like a little bit of a fever dream kind of situation, wouldn't you say? I do wish I could have more control over like the view, and I don't really understand how to control that. All right, if I hit play, what's gonna happen? Oh, the flash warning, I guess I should say. All right, go, go, go. All right, we got the elephant. We got the 안녕하세요 in there. We got the spiral. Let's go into this visual mode. I don't know how I can move the camera around. Tempo, sync, rotation. Yes, beta run. Things have definitely escalated here. So that's unlike anything else I've seen from people who make visualizers. Like, this is a deep visualizer. This is not just a kitschy thing that they built like as a little companion with the SEQTRAK. This is like straight up, I don't know how to best describe it. This is like a very deep, cool visualizer. Let's see what this does. I do wish I could like control the camera a little bit better. Here we go. We have all these different angles. But then you can record this and like make a video for your music. And then there's an AR situation when you use your phone. Who can really explain this? I'm probably not going to get deep with this, but it's possible, clearly. All right, that's the visualizer. I'm sure you can find what's this going to do? Zoom in. Oh boy. How about that? Let's see how this works. Little audio glitch there. Like, I probably would not want to be watching a whole music video like this. Okay, so there it is. Save it. Let's save it to the desktop real quick. I wonder, did that save with sound on? Let's check the tape. No, it doesn't have sound on it, which is very bizarre. All right, I'm probably not doing something correctly. But anyway, I would definitely pay for a VST of this. Bobby Limes, check out something called Rockvid. Rockvid is an Ableton Live device. I don't know if it's still supported in the latest versions of Live, but it's kind of it's a visualizer. It's not nearly as deep as that, but you can drop video clips into it and change certain reactions and stuff. If you exported that and blended it with some other footage, you could get really creative. Haystack Sniper, I agree. I think you're right. Does it work outside of Ableton? Oh, no, it's like an Ableton device, Bobby. Yeah, I think those visuals would be super cool for like a projection behind a performer. And I don't know, I just was playing around for 2 seconds and I made something super trippy and weird. So I'm sure people could become experts at that and make something super cool. Elephant needs to be able to blow the trunk. Oh, long form YouTube videos. Yeah, not a bad use of that. Dustin, you made it. Hello. We just finished kind of our overview of the SEQTRAK and we had a good time. Because because I hate making content so much. The idea of streamlining it in a somewhat creative, exciting way. This ain't gonna streamline nothing. Like, you're gonna be deep into making one of these visuals for sure. Have I heard of Ebo Suite? No. What is Ebo Suite? Tell me. Adding 1 or 2 of these in the AR mode is good stuff. Yeah, I should explore that because that looks pretty cool. Like I said, I was originally considering this to be just a, what do you call it? A gimmick. But I think it's far beyond just a gimmick. Coach K says, TAETRO and chat, hope you all have a wonderful day. And if not, then tomorrow will be. Thank you so much, Coach K. I want to remind everybody who just joined. Well, first of all, I'll say thank you all for tuning in. We are live every single Monday. We're actually going to be live later this week for members only. See, if you didn't know, we have members only workshops that are like deep dives into musical topics. We're going to talk all about layering in this week's workshop. That was a requested workshop from other members. So if you want to join now, if you click the join button below the video, you can become a member. You will get access to free sound downloads. You'll get access to watch that workshop live and watch the previous 8 workshops. You don't have to be a channel. You don't have to watch it live. You can watch the archive if you can't make it live, so don't worry about that. Free downloads, members only workshop, and then next month in March, we're going to be doing track feedback sessions. You'll be able to submit your music for that. So it's a good time to become a channel member. That is actually a super helpful way to support the channel if you can. $5 membership goes a really long way. We're close to 350 members, if you can believe that. But I'm always trying to bring value to you all here on this channel, and that is only made possible from the support of both sponsors and member supporters. So I try to provide more value for that $5 membership than $5. So from just downloading the sounds, watching the previous workshops, and seeing the other members only content, accessing our full Discord, I think that's worth way more than $5 just in your first month. And getting feedback on your music, of course. So consider becoming a member. Hit the join button below if that's something that interests you. Are there any final questions on the SEQTRAK or related topics? See, there's no fast way for me to get to unmute those kicks and snares. I guess I could get faster at it. Put some weight on that kick. All right, you got it, you got it. How's that, G Brown? I did it. I put some weight on the kick, okay? Yeah, I know, but getting there, like if I was playing a melody, like I have to do this two-handed thing to do the mute and unmute. So like to be able to quickly get to that, like I almost wish I could be in like a mute mode or something like that. It's like so that's what I mean by like a device trying to be good at everything. Like it's got these performance features. I would love to be able to use it for performance, but it's not quite there on some like basic things. Dustin McAdams asks a good question. What do you see as I got this visualizer in front of me? And it's just like a lot to be looking at. I gotta escape out of that. All right, let me just exit out of this in general. All right, go. Exit out of that. You can save those visuals, by the way. Okay, let me answer that question. What do you see as the device's main role for you? Just starting out with it. I think the main role would be quickly getting out some rhythmic grooves that are both like drum machine based and sample based. Also, it's not a bad idea station. That's what I'll say. That's what it's billed as. It's billed as an idea station, like a little sketchbook. I think it is pretty good for that. What they'll need to do is add a way to get the ideas off of the box and into a device where you can finish things. That's what they need to do next to really complete that thought in a way. But I think in terms of like building up beats like this, I love this format, jumping between all the different tracks. The built-in synth sounds are really good. The 7-part sampler is really cool. I think it thrives at like coming up with those initial grooves and loops. And I could see myself like making a bunch of loops on this thing. Like if I wanted to just focus on drums and rhythm, I think picking up this thing would be what I would go to for it. I think it's good at that. And I think it's got the sound selection built in, even though you can drop in your own samples. It's got the built-in sound selection to be able to do that in a way that would make me happy and not feel like, oh my God, I don't want to make techno. Please stop making me use techno sounds like a lot of other boxes do. All right, as we close out our conversation on the SEQTRAK here, I want to know, is anybody playing any good games these days? I was writing in the Discord about playing games this weekend. I played Helldivers, actually. By the way, if you tuned in late, please don't forget that you can watch this stream on my channel, and that we did a full rundown of kind of the workflow and the ins and outs of this thing. So if you want a full breakdown, you can watch this stream from the beginning. You can rewind right now, or you can chill with us live and then watch back from the beginning later. All the previous live streams are on the channel. Thank you again to Zzounds for sending this. I'm not closing out, I'm just letting you all know. Zzounds sent me this. They hooked me up with their affiliate program. So if you are looking to shop for new music gear or a SEQTRAK in particular, there's a link to it in the description. Check out the Zzounds store. I'm also going to be building up my Zzounds wish list because they basically said, hey, if you want to try stuff out, let us know. So I want you all to be involved in that. Speaking of all the consumerism stuff we were talking about before, imagine if you didn't have to spend any money. We'll kind of like skirt around the system. You don't have to spend any money. I'll tell Zzounds that I want the piece of gear that you want. They'll send it to me. I'll be your hands on stream. You can tell me, push that button, try this out, try that out. And then by that way, you can like try out the gear without even buying it or worrying about it at all. I'll try it out for you. And you can subvert the consumer, the marketing buzz that way, and you can decide if you really like something or not. Consider that. So if there's a piece of gear you think I should be playing or using, let me know, and I'll see if Zzounds will send it over and we could possibly do a video on it. I was thinking about the Boss loopers. I've never tried those before, like the RC505. The Yamaha finger drumming stuff I thought was cool. All right, what are we saying about games? Games here. Let's segue. I want to try something out, chat, and look what I have. Do you all want to help me test and see if we can do game streams here via PS Remote Play. If I can remote play my PS5 to my Mac and use it to stream. Are you all down to stick around and see if we can do that? All right. Let me see. Does look interesting, but it looks to fill a similar role from the gear I picked up recently. Yeah, that's good awareness. The Geek is Up is finishing Lies of P. Awesome Souls like. I'm about to be jumping into Elden Ring again, I think. Destiny 2, about to get a retro handheld. I just bought a PS Vita, G Brown. It's not delivered yet. It's going to come in a couple weeks, I think. But I bought a fully modded PS Vita, which I'm stoked for. I was big into Destiny 1, huge into Destiny 1, played a little Destiny 2, but fell off. Dustin McAdams says about the SEQTRAK, if I was starting fresh, I'd probably get this, but hard to justify with my current stuff. Yeah, for sure. Would love your take on the intuitive instrument Exquise. I don't know. I haven't seen it. Outer Wilds is life-changing. I'd love to see someone's first reaction to that. That could be fun. It looks like a fun game. I'm a big fan of No Man's Sky. I tried playing Starfield, but it wasn't for me. Cyberpunk is great. I've been stuck in Neverwinter forever. What is Neverwinter? I need to know. How does this compare to the TE EP133? I have both. I haven't gone as deep with the Teenage Engineering one. It's hard for me to compare, but I think the Teenage Engineering thing is very sample based and based around sample manipulation and making one-shot instruments and things like that. That's not something you're really going to be doing on the SEQTRAK. The SEQTRAK has a really good synths built into it. So I guess it's like, do you prefer to do sampling and make your own instruments, or do you want something that has like built-in kit sounds that are really good? I think that would be the thing. +1 on Outer Wilds. Okay, good to know. Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, Marcin. People were making suggestions for me in the Discord which one of those games to start with. They do seem like my type of game. Neverwinter MMORPG. Oh, wow. Cool. That sounds like I remember as a kid, like before like I could really play games like that, there would be these books in the bookstore, like full guides, like EverQuest, is that one? There'd be these full guides on these MMORPGs. And I was always like, what are these games? Like, how are people possibly doing this? All right, let's boot up Remote Play and let's see if this works while I'm streaming. Let's see, chat. Moment of truth. I was playing Helldivers all weekend with my friends, and that is a pretty decent, fun for the whole squad experience, I would say. It gets very, very tough. The Discord is members only. Yes. The Geeks Up, the Discord is members only, but you can join at any tier and you get access to the Discord. There's also a public section of the Discord called The Garden, which is just going to be around for our current community event that's happening. But our bigger, broader Discord with all the different channels and stuff, that is members only. So if you want to support the channel, or if you're able to support the channel and you want to get access to that, you get access to a bunch more things too. But yes, serving up some liberty for sure. All right, let me see. What do I have to do here? Gotta click on the right button. That's what I gotta do. So I kind of tested this out the other day and it worked pretty well. But what I'm going to be doing is using PS Remote Play from my PS5, which is downstairs, to my MacBook Pro. Oh gosh, let's see if this is going to work. And I've got my controller up here. Yo, Ancient Noir. Thank you for upgrading your membership. Welcome to the Seekers tier. Yeah, so we've got 3 tiers of membership. The Wanderers, the Seekers, and the Guardians. The Seekers tier is the most valuable tier. The Guardians is for like if you really, really want to support the channel in a big way. That's great. Wanderers get you into the Discord. You can submit music for feedback. Seekers is where you get the free downloads, the members-only videos, etc. So what do we think, chat? Is this going to actually work? It might be laggy if you're connecting via Wi-Fi. Well, let's try. I think I'm probably not going to play... I'm not going to go into Helldivers. Wait, this is so weird. The controller is also controlling my Mac. Let me jump out. No, I don't want to go into rest mode. Find My just opened up. I don't know. Oh, the controller is like controlling my Mac as well. Is there a way that I can make that not happen? Okay, hold on. Oh. What is even? I like don't even know how to use my PlayStation. Is that what's happening? All right, let's open up Cyberpunk because it's a single-player game. I didn't even know of the different membership levels I need to upgrade. Get in there, Bobby Limes. Yeah, Seekers is where you get all the not hidden stuff, but how's this volume-wise with voice plus game? Seekers is where you get the like members-only video and the downloads and the video version of the podcast. Dang, these SEQTRAK graphics are dope. Thank you. Use this shed. What's good? Nice to see you. I need to see if there are streamer mode settings for this game, because what I don't want to do is, yeah, let's do a nudity sensor. I don't want to accidentally be naked on screen. And then I think sound for music, I need to turn off the copyright music, which is a shame because there's a lot of good music in this game. Alright, so I don't know if any of you are into Cyberpunk, but if you are, I have pretty much finished the Phantom Liberty DLC, so if you don't want spoilers or something, look away.
City International and Translunar. Don't wait. Leave your earthly worries, ulcers, and
Game is pretty loud compared to the voice. I just turned it down. Thank you for letting me know.
Taste true freedom. Be who you want to be. Pursue your heart's desire at the destination.
Alright, y'all. What do you want to know about Cyberpunk Phantom Liberty? We can just run around. I don't have to do any missions or anything. Can I jump to that? Oh, I can. But now what? Oh, some loot? Oh, that's not the button. This is another thing about like switching between games is you gotta like remember the controls for each game. So folks, we are using PS Remote Play for this. So I'm pretty kitted up. Y'all want to see what I look like? That's not it. Check me out. I'm kind of like stealth ninja-y vibes. Here, I can change my outfit. How do I upgrade my membership? Asked Bobby. Bobby, hit the join button again, and it should, since you're already a member, it should probably say upgrade instead of become a member. So Grimes is a character in this game. Well, Grimes is not a character. The character's name is Lizzie Wizzy, but played by Grimes, and she gives you this crown, which is kind of dope. Alright, this is my standard outfit. Stymander says, I just joined. What the heck is going on? You know, we're finishing out the SEQTRAK stream with a little gaming. I don't know if you guys would be annoyed with me if there were game streams here. By the way, this is a violent game, so if you are watching with children or you don't like that, warning, has been issued. But how is the gameplay quality looking? Look, this city is a little chaotic, so clearly nobody cared that I just choked that guy out.
How long have you been tracking me?
Uh-oh. This is another thing that happens. People in the public are, like, drugged out and paranoid.
It's begun!
Oh, God. walked in the fire. This is not good. Oh, and she walked in the fire. Oh, man. She attacked me, chat. You saw that? SEQTRAK, this game is cool. Can't wait to see you review the Yamaha. Yeah, this stream will be available to watch later. We started by... I did a whole walkthrough already of the SEQTRAK. So, we're just doing a little gaming fun at the end here. Alright, let's bail out of this area. What are you all looking at, by the way? We'll let them be for now. Let's get in the car and drive. I would say the game is running pretty smoothly for doing the remote play over Wi-Fi. Alright, what car do we want? Oh, clearly I parked here earlier. We got a lot of cars. We got our turbo. I'm a fan of the motorcycles. We've got our Acura motorcycle. For those of you who don't know anything about Cyberpunk, we're in like a part of the town that is under military occupation. So we should get out of here and go to a different part of town. Let's just go. We're not going to do any missions now. Let's just go to the Dogtown gate and get out. So the game is actually in performance mode right now. I changed it to performance mode so that it would work via remote play better. But it still looks pretty good. The ray tracing mode on the PS5. Oh god, it's hard to control this bike. The ray tracing mode looks fantastic on PS5. Weird, only Wanderer level is available. I might try hopping on VPN. Try that out, Bobby, because that's very odd. It's very odd that you would be able to become a member, but that all the tiers would not be available. Oh, I just made a mess of the situation here. We got it. Okay, everybody relax. It was just an accident. You guys never heard of traffic tickets in this part of town? Alright, we're definitely getting a little lag and latency here. Go. Initiate overload turret friendly mode. We need that. Please be my friend, turret. Thank you. I guess the issue is I can't get out of here now. Why is everybody mad at me? The game is cool. Oh yeah, okay. Dustin, did you play the DLC? Oh, you didn't get too far into it. Man, it's like playing a movie.
Keep shooting!
Alright, I think I need to run away. Because that's the gate out of this part of the city. And they're clearly not too happy with me. So let's steal a car.
Target's motorized. Comb the streets.
Oh,
Don't let him escape.
This is off to a great start. The gig is up. Thank you so much for joining as a channel member. Welcome, 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 my friend. The gig is up. Here's a question for you, because Bobby was having a problem. I'm not trying to get you to upgrade tiers or anything. Were there other tiers available to sign up for membership? Or was only Wanderers available? Ugh, this is not where I want to be. Run, run, run. Alright, we gotta run away. We got a wanted level. We gotta get rid of that. And then we can leave this part of the city. I'm invisible. Nobody can see me. Nobody can see me. Alright, we'll go up on the roof here. Nobody's gonna be able to find us. Whew. All the tiers were available. Yeah, it might be a region thing, Bobby Limes. Just tried VPN, still no go. Are you on mobile, perhaps? we are good to go now. That was a little more chaotic than I wanted it to be. I like that the radio just came on suddenly. Alright, the join button is C perks. I can see I'm a wanderer and an option to cancel, but no upgrade option. Interesting. Let's go here. Alright. We're just gonna fast travel to a location, then we're gonna call it a day. I wasn't planning to like do a bunch of gaming today, but I wanted to test out this situation. Let's go to a cool part of town. It sounds like a weird bug, Bobby. I wonder if canceling and rejoining would work, but I don't want you to go through all that. Maybe post about it in the Discord, Bobby, and see if anybody else knows how to deal with it. Alright, we don't need all that music on. Look at this beautiful city, my friends. So one thing I've done is I've gone through this game and I've captured a bunch of just long videos, like long screen captures. And I want to just make a bunch of ambient music for the scenes in this game. Aaron says, we sampling video games today? No, we're just having a little fun gaming session after we already did a bunch of music stuff. So I just wanted to try out PS Remote Play here. And for a single player game, it doesn't seem too bad. What is this? Oh, that's not what I wanted to do at all. Alright, you guys want to get into some chaos here. Oh, keep hitting X to select things, because that's the Helldivers control. Alright, let's sneak around. Let's see what these guys are up to down here. Alright, those are just normal people. But these folks, the Blitzers, or Tiger Claws, seems to be a little bit of a situation down here. Those neon lights look dope, right? A little bit of a deal going down, I guess. What do you think? Do we let them be? Or do we bring justice to the city? I say we bring justice to the city. But in order to do that, let's keep it quiet. Seems like there was a death. I think they killed that guy's friend. Let's figure out how to approach this. I've got my silenced sniper rifle. But there's too many of them to do a completely stealth mission here, I think. Yeah. Oh, so I can jump around and traverse quite fine, but I think sometimes I'm hitting the shoot button and it's not shooting. Bada bing. It's crazy how this remote play situation works, because what it does is it actually turns your TV, not your TV, your PlayStation on. So downstairs my PlayStation is on, and if I turn the TV on, you would see this on the screen. Like everything that we're doing now would be happening on the screen. The Gig is Up says, where can I find the Discord? My first membership and I feel so lost. Don't worry, everybody has that feeling at first. What it is you go into Discord and you connect your YouTube account, and then you will automatically be in the server. If any other members can offer some assistance in that, just ask a few other members in the chat. I'll be able to help you. Let's clear out this gang and then we'll call it a day. Whew. Headhunter level 50. Alright, let's do it. Where is that music coming from? Turn that music off. Alright. Nothing seemingly of value here. This dude's just chilling. They killed your friend, bro. I avenged your friend. Owen Ryan. R.I.P. The insane music artist turned off the sound of the music. That's funny. Here you go. Here's some music for you. Let's ride off into the sunset. Hold the bike. They actually have a radio station that they got a bunch of independent artists to contribute to for the DLC. So I think that's pretty dope. This game is also dope because it's one of those, if you can see it, you can go there. So it's like, if we see a building over there or an area, we can just literally drive there. Would there be any copyright worries when using game footage? That's a good question. For content? Well, people do it all the time, right? People make montages, etc. The copyright issue would probably would probably happen if you were, let's say you made a music video for your song or something. First of all, nobody's gonna care if some independent artist does something. They're only gonna care if it like you're like Justin Bieber doing it or something. But I don't know, it's probably a tricky thing. So you always watch game streamers and stuff, right? Well, have you considered why can you stream a game but you can't stream a movie? It's kind of the same thing. Really the only reason that game streaming and the way we use game footage and stuff online works is because the game creators think that it's good marketing to have streamers play their games and have clips around. It's like perfect marketing for their game. You watch somebody play a game, oh, I want to play that, you end up getting it. There might come a day where some game developer or publisher or whatever flips the switch and says, no, don't do that. Actually, Nintendo has done that before, I believe, with some of their games. Now, capturing footage from a game and transforming it into something, I don't know, seems like a legal gray area. Fair use is pretty complicated, too.
What's up?
Oh gosh, this is a bad idea. Oh! Alright, everybody. I think we're gonna call it a day. I was not really trying to play video games in the middle of the day, but if you are down for future gaming streams here on this channel, well, let me ask you this. Would you all be offended if I did gaming streams on this channel, or would you say, no, you need to start a different channel? This channel, I expect there to be music content only, no gaming or other content. What do you all say? Curious what people actually think, because I know a lot of us in the chat are artists and creatives and whatever, but we are multifaceted human beings. We can like games and movies and music. We don't have to be stuck to just one thing. The name of the channel is your name. Do whatever you want. Stybander, thank you for that encouragement. A mix is good, says Accent Noir. Casual gaming while we chat about music, industry, art. Dope. Alright, so we should probably have like a certain like a TAETRO After Dark segment that is like, okay, we're not gonna actually be making music, we're gonna be chilling. That kind of thing. Suggestion, create a gaming channel that is clips at the moment and then switch to that channel for streams once it reaches a sub threshold. Not a bad idea, DZMO. Not a bad idea at all. So once again, I'm going to ask you all about this quality of this. Oh gosh, I'm dead. I want to ask you all about the quality of this. Does it look pretty good? I know it doesn't look perfect like ray tracing and all that, but is it a watchable stream? Because I can tell that it's not full quality, obviously, on my screen, but I'm wondering from a stream perspective. If it's like, no, it's not 120 frames per second, crystal clear, 6K footage, unwatchable. Quality's fine. Okay, good to know, good to know. Looks solid to me from a stream game perspective. Nice. Alright, so I think for some casual games and stuff, this will actually be a worthwhile thing to try out. Alright, so maybe next month, maybe like not too far in the future, I'll plan a casual stream day. We'll have our Mondays be music making day, and then we'll have another day where we do casual streaming. You know, one way I can tell I have this turned down in performance mode is because there's not a lot of cars and pedestrians on the street. TAETRO, I've recently gotten into music production and your videos have helped me a lot. Still have a long way to go, but you make the process way faster and more fun. Lewis, I'm so happy to hear that. Thank you for sharing that with me. Anytime somebody shares a story or just like a statement about their musical journey and I'm helping, it is motivating. So if you follow any artists or have any teachers or mentors in your life, do not hesitate to just tell them, hey, you helped me a lot, you know? We got a couple of hooligans out here.
Alright then. No, I can't agree to that. Sorry.
Oh, don't walk this way. Don't walk this way. Walk that way. Let's go ahead and distract him. Look over there.
Uh-huh.
Okay, he's distracted. We're gonna do this totally stealth, chat.
Who's there?
This guy's not gonna know what hit him. He's gonna know what hit him. Okay. Whew. Money. Alright, we did that totally stealth. This is how I play this game, by the way. I try to be a secret agent. Alright, what were you even working on over here? Nothing? Alright. Alright, chat. What's up, Enjoy2? Your test worked. Test, test. Wait, DSMO says, good question. What was the good question? Did I miss it? For like 2 seconds, the audio was panned far left and I momentarily died. Interesting, it didn't do that for me. It could have actually been something happening on the left side of me. Alright. Did I miss a question about lighting? Because I see DSMO reacting. Alright, I don't think I missed something. That's odd. Alright, everybody. Closing out the day here. Little gaming action. You can rewind to the top of the stream if you missed it. My first day with the Yamaha SEQTRAK. I think we had a good time with that. And then, I don't know. Get ready for more casual gaming content and streams coming to this channel, I guess? Let's do it. Alright. That is going to be it, everybody. I will see you all next time. Here, let me answer this question before we go. Your question was just when you said if you want anything different about the stream quality, and I said I like your lighting. Oh, I got it. You like the lighting, huh? Well, I actually put these curtains in because watch. Ah! So not only is that a ton of light, ton of light is not a bad thing, like especially on this camera angle, but like look at this. It's like blazing sun. And that also makes this room the hottest room in the house, which is not good for trying to operate with a lot of, you know, machinery, electronics, etc. All right, I got other stuff to do. I can't be playing games in the middle of the day, chat. We will meet again soon for another casual stream. That is it for now. I will talk to you all later. The conversation continues on Threads, Twitter. No, not Twitter. Threads, Discord, my YouTube comments, any way you want to get in touch, basically. When I'm not posting here, I'm posting on Instagram, so that's a good spot to follow. I'll see you all next time. I hope you all enjoyed the stream. I will see you all soon. This has been TAETRO. Have a good one.